Oh, yeah. Okay, my IBMOR brothers. We just talked about this. We were just talking about this in imprinting. And we just finished talking about alpha fucks and beta bucks and the ideal man. And as the universe would have it, as soon as you speak something into existence, the example pops up. The form takes shape. So I present to you Iyanla again, fixing somebody's life and presenting us with examples of what we're talking about. If you remember the story of the Florida Lotto winner that won the Power Ball, that used $21 million of her money to bail out her boyfriend. And then on the surface, what looks like a fool's errand, a dumb ratchet chick, when you get below the surface, we get to dig into something a little deeper. This one has all the elements: the alpha fucks, the beta bucks, the ideal man, and the pathology that women, and black women in particular, pass down from generation to generation. This is a clear example of a woman's psyche and how it's formed and why women actually do things. So we're going to get into the story of the misguided lottery winner and celebrated femme fatale who fell for a bad boy and risked losing her riches on him. So sit back, relax. We're going to talk about this. Going to give you an example from not only her perspective, but Iyanla's Van Zandt's perspective. And then I'm going to come back with my analysis.
Before you won the lottery, you were the mother of 4 working in Walmart.
We followed the story of Marie, a single mother of 4 who won the Power Ball lottery while working at Walmart and living the family pathology that was anchored in poverty. As you saw in the story, Marie was not prepared to shift from an experience and consciousness of barely making it into an experience and consciousness of wealth. As a result, she made what many thought were bad decisions and poor choices with the money once she got it. And if you follow social media, many people think that she was less than wise when she spent $21 million to bail her fiance out of jail. But there was something deeper motivating that behavior. And that's what we want to dive into and talk about. Now, so before you condemn Marie for bailing her boyfriend out of jail and wasting all of that money, just know this, that everything she paid, the entire $21 million minus 3%, was returned to her once he turned himself into the federal authorities. So while she paid out about $21 million, she got most of that back. She only lost about $1.3 million. Now, that's nothing to turn your nose up at, but let's look at what motivated her as a woman and as a mother. See, Marie's father also had his brushes with the law and drugs. He was away for a good part of Marie's life because he was in jail. Now, Marie and Lamar have a daughter together. In my conversations with her, I discovered that her primary motivation was to save her daughter the pain she felt when her father was incarcerated. At the time she paid the bail, there was still hope that a deal could be made that would keep Lamar home. So Marie bailed him out so that he could be with her, his children, and their child before he went away. Now, whether or not we think that was a good choice is not the issue. Recognize how Marie was attempting to avoid her family pathology. In the same way, Miss Marie's mother, Miss Fontella, tried to spare her daughter and help her by not telling Marie that it was her numbers that won the jackpot. Marie was trying to save her children from what she had gone through. You see, what you do not transform will be transferred. What Miss Fontella did not deal with within herself, she transferred to Marie. What Marie felt and experienced that was not healed is now being transferred to her children. Listen, let me tell you, a family pathology is real, it is strong, and it motivates both conscious and unconscious behavior. So before we judge Marie, or before you judge anyone, examine your own pathology related to money and relationships, because I'm sure there's some things there that you see that have carried over from one generation to another generation. I'm just concerned about you, because I think you're taking on a lot emotionally.
I still don't know how I'm gonna feel when he leaves.
Who's the other man that left you to go to jail?
My father.
Yeah. And how did you feel that?
I kind of felt that I had lost my best friend.
Yeah. And until you can be a witness to your own pain and speak it, you can't heal it. Marie is still that little girl who doesn't understand why her dad abandoned her for a life of drugs and prison time and time again. It is no surprise that she has chosen a man who will ultimately repeat that pattern and disappoint her in the same way. It is a pattern that will keep repeating until both Marie and Lamar stand up and own their truth. It's okay. Tell him. I got you. Go ahead. Just tell him.
It's not gonna be easy for me because you're gonna be going away just like my dad did.
Yeah.
And it really breaks my heart that you're going.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
I don't want you to go, but I know it's just something that you have to do. Because I was kind of depending on you to be here with me.
Yeah.
Kind of scared of having to be alone
Yes.
and dealing with it on my own, but I have to do it anyway.
Now, that was a very long clip that we just played. But as I advise all my IBMOR brothers, whether you like Iyanla Van Zant or not, I always say you can learn a lot from anybody. All you have to do is collect the facts and not necessarily take the conclusion, because the conclusion is always her opinion or his opinion. But the facts are the facts. And while this is my opinion, I'm going to deal with the facts. The fact is that this woman won however many dollars that she won, brought home however many millions of dollars that she won. And she had a criminal boyfriend that she put up money for, $21 million to be exact, to get him out on bail while he's pending trial. And on the surface, it makes absolutely no sense to spend that kind of money or put up that kind of money for a man that's a miscreant. In any practical manner, it would make absolutely no sense, no matter who he was. But that's where we have to get deeper into it, because this is not about sense. This is about emotion. It's about imprinting. If we go back to the diagram again, I know everybody gets tired of it. We go back to our old diagram again about the 4 types of men and the blend that women actually want, the 4 desirable traits that men have and that women adhere to. And in the video I did about imprinting and also about the marital con job, what did I say that women wanted? They wanted an alpha male with beta traits. They wanted the provisions of a beta and the excitement of an alpha. And if they can get both, that becomes the ideal man. And the question always comes in, what is an ideal man? Well, the ideal man is what she's imprinted on to be an ideal man. And as you can see, how was this girl or this woman imprinted when she was young? She was imprinted by, number one, her surroundings, where she grew up, which is probably not the nicest place in Florida. Number two, she was imprinted by her mother's choices of men because she's the one that picked her father. And then lastly, her father was what? He was involved with criminal activity, prison, and alcohol and drugs, right? She loved her father, and perhaps if he had stayed in her life long enough, then she could have made a more informed choice about the likes and dislikes about her father. But what did I say in my last video about imprinting? If the father's away or the father's taken away and he's absent, the girl will make up an idealized version of him, which is what she did. She said her father was her best friend and he loved her, but he couldn't provide for her. He couldn't be around, right? He left her alone. So when she grew older and she meets this man that's in the image of her father, except he's what? He's drug dealing and he's providing for her. He's taking care of her. So he meets the criteria of her idealized man, her alpha, bad boy, drug dealer, exciting man, and also her beta provider, the one that provides comfort and support and love and provisions. What did I say? The idealized version of the man provides the key that turns the lock. And then most likely, since he's a bad boy and he's had 3 kids from previous relationships, he's probably good enough to do what? Punch in the code and give her an orgasm. That means she's locked in. And since she's locked in, she's not only having a child by him, but also helping him take care of his other 3 children. So it's no wonder, there's no question that what will she do? Anything that she has, anything at her disposal, she will do to keep him around, to keep him out of jail, because she wants her idealized man, her ideal man at home with her and her children, which is something that she just said in her video, in her piece. The sins of the mother will be visited upon the children, and sometimes for 7 generations. I'm sure if we go back and check out her mother's mother, her grandmother, I'm sure we're going to see some kind of the same traits. This is what forms family pathology. This is also why you see sophisticated girls with high educations and 6-figure jobs come down and mess with a guy of this type, because she's been imprinted through the culture, through her mother, through the neighborhood that she was around, through the men that her mother picked. These kind of guys become her idealized men. And I wouldn't be surprised if while he's in there, that she wouldn't pick up another guy of similar attributes to keep her company while her main boo is locked up in prison for 7 years. Now, I didn't catch the whole piece. I just caught the clip. You know, when it repeats, I hope to catch it. And maybe I'll do a fuller review on it, because we didn't get into what the mother was and the mother's life. From a little bit that I saw, her and her mother are very, very similar people. They are ruled by their emotions more than their logic, which is not unlike most females, period. But this is a lesson learned. This is something most women leave out. So when you see something like this, even Iyanla will leave out the most valuable piece, which is sex, which is something she always does. And womb imprinting, as Ram Wills talks about, is something that is very, very significant and very, very common. And we only notice it when the couple is mismatched, when something is way out of balance, like something like this, when a woman will risk her fortune to bail her loved one out. And it's something that, in the purview of women, that women should tell their girls and tell them those stories, which most women don't, because most women, especially black women, have shame and guilt about their rendezvous with being imprinted by the wrong man. But women don't understand is that money won't change it, education won't change it, and sometimes even a change of scenery won't change it. Changing of your racial partner is not going to change it. It takes a lot of self-reflection and inner work to fight back that demon, because the demons are inside and not outside. And while Iyanla Van Zant is very pro-female, and she's softer on the women for being who they are, if you listen to her, Leave her opinion out and listen to her. She's given up really, really good game. And a lot of things we can actually use not only to raise our boys, but also to raise our girls. I always tell my daughters, your womb ain't no joke. If you're good to it, it will be good to you. If you're not good to it, it's going to ruin your life. Just like I tell the men, if you can't control your wand, you're headed for self-destruction, which is something we tell men all the time. I don't think women, black women especially, have that conversation. Well, with that, this is a cautionary tale. This is an example hot off the presses and right in your face. So take heed, peep game, live long and prosper. This is BGS out.